So folks, all kidding aside, you know, I always mess with him because he believes we actually landed on the moon.
Yes.
And he also retired from the Air Force.
Yes.
And you fancy yourself or have some sort of, you know, evidence that you're of higher intelligence than most dipshits.
I don't believe that. I mean, if you believe that, I appreciate it.
What would you do in the Air Force?
I did counterintelligence in the Air Force. I see what you're saying. No, I was a navigator on a KC-130. I was an instructor navigator on a KC-135 Stratotanker. I flew for about 5 years. And the last 2 years, I did signature management, like counterintelligence work.
So it's the opposite of intelligence. It's counter.
Yeah. So for instance, consider the concept of like you leave your house to go on vacation. What do people do? They have someone come and pick up the newspaper. They have someone turn the lights on every once in a while, turn them off. You might have an automatic thing that does it. Someone might leave the TV on or whatever so that your neighbors or possible thieves or whatever can't tell that you've gone away. Does that make sense? So that would be a counterintelligence move. We did stuff like that, except consider that for an entire Air Force base or an Army base or something like that. You don't want people to know when you're going to deploy, or you don't want people to know the deployment strength. You would use different ways of hiding those numbers. That's a counterintel.
So counterintel is the act of shielding.
Yes, from other intelligence services. Correct. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about the intelligence community, what are they referring to?
The intelligence community is going to be everything from the DIA. So that's the CIA, the DIA. It's going to be the National
SS.
Yeah. What do you mean SS?
Secret Service.
The Secret Service is not a part of the intelligence apparatus. They're part of the Department of Finance.
Does there have to have an intelligence in the title to be part of the intelligence community?
It's just National Security Advisor. I think it's everything that falls underneath him. But like we have different intelligence. So the NSA would be under the an intelligence agency, the CIA, the DIA, and then you would have individual military intelligence for the different branches would have their own ones. But yeah, I mean it's they're all supposed to share. The FBI also would be an intelligence agency to some extent.
How come you didn't go that route?
I just didn't want to do. I actually got in the military to become an intel officer, ironically, and then became a navigator because I tested really high on those skills. There's a portion when you take the AFOQT where they give you these 3-dimensional puzzles to solve, and I got a perfect score on that. So they put me in the nav pilot slot. I told them I did not want to be a pilot. It's an 11-year commitment to be a pilot. It's only 7 years to be a navigator. So I did the navigator route. And I really enjoyed it. It was really great. But later on, it was one of these things where I knew maybe my second year in the military, I didn't want to do 20 years. I loved being in the military. One of the greatest, probably the single greatest decision I ever made was to become an Air Force officer. But I will tell you, I just knew 20 years was not something I wanted to do. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to try different things. And I had learned so many skills. When you're an officer in the military, consider you're getting a continuing master's degree in leadership. That's the best way to describe it. It's like, these are the things that these are what we prioritize. These are the things we get rid of. I can't always have my troops like me. Sometimes I'm going to have to give them ugly truths. I have to be able to serve them. The dichotomy of leadership that Jocko Willink talks about. I need to be a leader and I need to be a follower. I talk with my sales team every week and I say, my first job is to serve you guys. My job is to make your job easier. If I'm not doing that, I never boss them around. I'm always trying to make their jobs easier. So learning those concepts, that's what you see. And also, I've also seen badder leadership when I was in the military. I had a squadron commander who got fired, and I just saw like them taking a lack of responsibility for what they were doing. And then you can translate that. I mean, Jocko Willink's probably the best person in the world to do that. He takes these concepts that he learned while he was a SEAL, and then he puts them into corporate structure. And that's what I try to do in my program as well. Except Jocko doesn't, have a dating component or a social media component. That's what I include.
Yeah. So folks, so he took his history and all of his experience, and now he's out, obviously, and he does a podcast. He's also a host of a lot of the, bikini contests and wet T-shirt contests.
No,
the
don't do
nightlife.
wet T-shirt, but yeah.
The
nightlife stuff, yeah.
So if you're in Vegas or coming to Vegas, I'd reach out to him if you want to know where the hot places to go are, because he's right in the middle of all of them. And at all the top parties and all the top places, usually with beautiful women adorning your arm.
It is so great hearing you describe this. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, dude, you everywhere you go, you got 20, 30 hotties with you. And again, hottie by normal standards. I'm somewhat of a finicky.
Yeah.
I'm looking for 5 men who want to learn how to level up their social circle and attract high quality women using nothing but your IG in 5 days. If this is you, hit the link below.